I have to say, Amy Schumer has a pretty face, great legs. She needs abs. I have thought about this a lot. I have listened to everyone talk about this from The View to blogs, and there is a reason why I go to the gym. I know how I want myself to look, and therefore I know how women should look that get me going, right? That is almost it, but not quite. That doesn't mean that Amy Schumer is not beautiful. She's very beautiful. Serena Williams, on the other hand, super hot. On the other hand, super hot. Whew. Muscular. You guys know my taste. You gals know my taste. I like that. But me aside, a person must be comfortable with who they are. Because if you are not instructed that you are beautiful the way you are, that negative feeling you have about yourself will come out in different ways. In the extreme, it could lead you to be a mass killer. And I am not joking. So it's really incumbent upon us in society to accept as many different kinds of people and kinds of body types as beautiful for the greater goal of social improvement. That doesn't mean that I have to want a woman who looks a certain way. Okay, I'll be specific. 260 pounds, cellulite, wearing mini skirts all the time. Okay. That doesn't mean I have to accept that as my definition of beauty. That doesn't mean that I want that kind of woman as a single guy. But it doesn't mean that I have to shame that woman either. You see what I'm getting at? And we've really come a long way in society overall. Because I remember when I was growing up, and this was, I'm Zenny 62 because I was born in 1962. During the 60s, it was common for kids to make fun of someone who was overweight. I didn't do that. Or someone who was mentally challenged, as we say today. I didn't do that. Or someone who was Polish. I didn't do that. In fact, at 6 years old, when Polish jokes were popular, and this was 1968, I hated Polish jokes. This is the reason why. Because I want you to listen. Because it made someone feel bad. You don't make people feel bad for being who they are. I never got that, okay? Fortunately, that ugly period of society went by us. Many of you were not alive then and wondering what I'm talking about. Ask your parents. Because it was a time when America had an influx of people from Europe after the war, and that carried into the 60s. And we have some of that same process today, but for different reasons, vastly different reasons. But then you didn't have hypermedia. We have social media now, which allows us to become quickly indoctrinated to different types of images. We're used to many more things now than the minuscule amount of media we had then. Most folks in the early 60s, if they had a television set at all, was black and white, and it got maybe 3 or 4 channels. Now we have thousands of channels about. And if you don't have thousands of channels on conventional television, there's of course the internet, which presents you tens of thousands of television type opportunities. From YouTube to Netflix, you get the idea. Different time, and I love it today, the way it is. But I'm old enough to remember that then. And I say that not as a digression, but as a point. It impacts, it being media, and the amount of media we're exposed to on a daily basis impacts how we accept images. In this instance, different body types. So that we have room for an Amy Schumer, a Serena Williams, a Hope Solo, totally hot, and Miss America, Miss Universe, Kim Kardashian, Melissa Benoist, who plays Supergirl. Oh, wow, you go on and on. Halle Berry can go on and on and on. It's a beautiful time to be alive. And within this context, it's very important for people to be comfortable themselves with who they are and what they look like. And of course, if you don't see something you like, change it. Go to the gym, go on a diet, lift some weights, sculpt your body. You can do that today.